What's good, everybody? You know what time it is. It is time for Elevated Vibes right here on IntellectualRadio.com, my iHeart radio station. Now, everybody, only got one of the great ones here with me today. The other one will be back next week. I got Mr. Timothy Evans.
How y'all doing, Facebook? All right.
Today, we're gonna give y'all a double whammy. All right. We don't do that much, but this time I think it was and Mr. Evans agreed that, it was worth it to give a little bit of how can I say, to the nose subject and something light.
Yeah, I think we picked some pretty good topics for this week.
Yes.
Something to dive deep into.
Yes. Yeah. Without a doubt. So tonight we're gonna start off speaking on the issue that is down there right now in Texas, where a young mother, she already has, if I'm correct, sir, was it 2 children?
She already has 2 children.
Right. And she was pregnant with another child, but there was an issue with the birth. Mm-hmm. And she was going according to the law, everybody. She was going according to the law, and she did everything that she was supposed to do to legally get an abortion that would be needed for the safety of her health, and the probability, if she would like to have another child, to have that chance to have that child. Now, everybody, I know you probably do know the case about this, where she went and the judge agreed with her just for the turnaround, and the attorney general did what, sir?
Him and the Texas Supreme Court overruled the judge in this case, and said that she couldn't do it. She had to go out of state to get this abortion done.
And thankfully, for the safety of her and her own privacy, that they did not say what state she went to. So, but the thing is, now, from what some of these states who went with this abolishing Roe v. Wade, some of these states, they said they gave a couple of stipulations. Mm-hmm. And from everything that she is going through and has went through, but they still want her to take this pregnancy to full term. Yeah. Give me your thoughts, bro.
Well, when I read about this case, it kind of reminded me on how before the Civil War, when slaves would go to a state that was a free state, that those states had the obligation to return the slaves back to the states that I don't know why that struck me as similar, but it's kind of like, two different rules, 2 different laws within the same country, and they are opposed to each other. You know what I mean? And they both have to do with the rights of the individual.
I agree, and I can see some of the similarities on what you're speaking about, because when she does come back within the state, it's always that probability that they may arrest this young lady.
Exactly.
And saying that and being that, of course, we will all look at it as another channel of injustice, because it was already an injustice that you had these folks on this panel of this court claim that they can tell everybody what to do with their bodies. Mm-hmm. We are all human beings. just as I cannot tell you what to do with your body, you know,
Mm-hmm.
these justices, and I won't attack all of them because it's not all of them. It's more of the majority. I think it was 6-3 vote.
Yeah, I believe that was a count 6-3.
6-3 vote.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, you know, let's excuse the three. Thankful for the three
Mm-hmm.
that was there. But as for the other six,
Don't you find it kind of hypocritical that these conservatives, at the same time, they are trying to stop women from having bodily autonomy. At that same time, they're screaming about personal freedom. That's their favorite motto: personal freedom. Don't tread on me. But I guess it's not freedom if you're a woman down in Texas. You know what I mean? In some of these other states also.
well, I mean, yeah, a lot of these Republican-led states, they're like you say, they're hypocritical in many ways. They're senseless,
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not following for the for the whole of the people. You understand what
Right.
I'm saying? Because if you sit back and you look at it, all right, you have a certain section. I'm trying to give a hypothetical.
Right.
Let's just say I'll even be nice, and I'm probably going way too high when I say this. You have the 45% that would say this is what they want to do. Right to life, blase skip, all that. All right,
Mm-hmm.
but you're gonna run with that 45% because you know you'll have some companies and other backers that would tell you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
But that 55%, and once again, I'm being nice because I know it's probably a lot less than 45%.
Mm-hmm.
They, you know, they will run with this 45%, but they will not even listen to that 55%. Not at
Right.
all.
And I think you're being generous.
I'm
with
being very generous
you're
because
being
personally, I would probably within my own heart say 20%.
Yeah, it's very low. Very low.
But I'll be kind enough, to give it a fighting chance.
Yeah, you got to be ultra conservative to have this kind of view in this day. This day and age, you got to be ultra conservative. Um, they don't account for rape. They don't account for incest. These guys are radical. You know what I mean?
Yes, I definitely.
And nothing no scenario is too extreme for these guys.
Yes.
So man, when you said 45%, I was like,
That's what I said. I was being kind.
I
You
think
know
it's,
what I'm
man,
saying?
it's like,
Like I said, in my own feel, in my own heart, and I'm not a Texan. I'm not just to name some other states. I'm not a Floridian. I'm not a Oklahoman, and none of that, or
Right.
Alabama, any of that. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? But
Yeah.
from my own heart, this is what I would say would probably be like 20%.
Yeah.
But for fact's sake and all that, I will go with the 45. But just to show the point that still, even to the lowest degree, as for the government that's supposed to be for the majority of the people, you are not actually being for the majority of the people. You are being for the people who may be lining your lining your pockets,
Mhm.
and then with a certain section of the people, which, come on now. You're still not with the majority. So why are you in these positions?
Well, they've been able to get away with it for all of these years without having any consequences, and this is something that they've been working on since the early 70s. Yeah, they've been working on this for a while.
Was that Roe v. Wade passed in 73, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And man, they haven't stopped working on it since the 70s, and so let me ask you something. have you noticed how if you go to one of these, I've seen clips of people going to these rallies, reporters interviewing the some of the anti-abortion rallies. They will go up to a person. They will say, you know what? I have all of these kids that need to be adopted. Do you want to adopt these kids? Because if they're not having an abortion, they might end up in the system.
Yes.
None of those folks out there want to adopt never one of these kids.
You know, and Boss Man said the best through a earlier show that we had where he I don't remember the saying, but what he was saying is they want to control everything until the birth.
Right.
You know, and then they want to give you HE double hockey sticks for the rest of the time.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You know, and to mentally though, go back to this young lady's case, and I know it was a couple of other cases within Oklahoma, Louisiana, and so forth, with a lot of the same thing. You are putting women through this mental anguish.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not only gonna say women, I mean the father of the baby, the husband, and probably the rest of her family.
And sometimes it's young kids.
Right. You're putting them through this mental anguish.
Mm-hmm.
This mental pain and so forth, because we can always go with the older thing, how it was when we were younger, where, they would speak on the level of abortion, and then, they would say, this child can't take care of a child and all of that. But let's hypothetically say it was not that. All right. And let's say whoever is they want this baby, but just like within these cases here, it would be detrimental to the child and detrimental to everybody else, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you putting your fellow Americans through this? This is the question I would have for many of them. Why put because they would say they are for the best for America.
Mm-hmm.
They would say that how many times over and over. Yes, and I'm talking about the Republican Party. They would claim this, fight to the death on that point.
Right.
But then yet, you are putting your fellow Americans through this whole line of crap.
Yeah, I don't think that it's all about the best thing for America. It's more about probably cultural issues because remember they used to, well, they probably still, they had all of those marches, you will not replace us, and Fox News, they were having these white supremacists on there, and they were saying that um, they were understanding that the birth rate of white people in this country was going down, and that certain groups would start replacing them. So they were very concerned about white children being born in this country.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Now I don't know if they worry about black folks. I think we just got caught up in the mix, and I don't think they worried about other nationalities too much. But I know that they were very concerned about the amount of white people being born in this country.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
I can't doubt that fact.
you know what I'm saying?
No. I mean, I hear what you're saying, and you never know within some of those circles, some of their ideology. I
right.
can't even get it out right. But you never know what they are truly thinking, because you're not thinking like they are.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, they can't make all these claims that they do. A lot of times they speak on, we're making this great melting pot or whatever, but you're not accepting what these other cultures, what these other people are about, or you're not even giving them the same honest chance that you may have had, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and they may try to, well, whitewash it and all that, and
Yeah.
you know that's something that they need to go back to the drawing board and see where their problems is, even to go back to some of their older mantras, older mentality. And I'm not speaking about the thought process and when they first started, but some of the things that they stood behind, saying that freedom and justice and all this. Stop pulling the injustice against women, pulling the injustice against other cultures, other minorities and so forth. All right, and be what you're supposed to be about.
Right, right. Yeah, that's the thing, right? So they get their ideology
Yes.
from the Bible,
Yes.
especially in those southern states and those conservative states. But it's like they kind of read over what they don't want to hear.
Yes.
And
selective hearing, selective whatever.
Right. Selective reading.
Right. Selective reasoning.
Yeah. So, they kind of use the Bible as a tool.
Yes.
To beat people with when they want something done.
Right.
And
then they should complain when other cultures do the same thing that they do. But go ahead.
Right. So I mean, if you read the Bible enough, you can find anything that you want. You know what I mean?
That's very true.
So I know there's a part, I probably shouldn't even bring this up, but there's a part in the Bible that I'm not sure of the verse, but it condones abortion in certain instances. I think it's when you commit adultery or something like that, then you're allowed to get a divorce. I mean, not a divorce. I'm sorry, an abortion. But they don't recognize that part.
Yeah, you can't. In my book, you should never pick and choose. If you're gonna be about what you claim to be, you should never pick and choose what is in it, what is in your book of guidance, what is to get you to be that better person, that better aura, spirit, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
I just don't believe that you should just go halfway with anything. And from what I know, and the different peoples that we all may have met, came across, and so forth, you know different cultures, different religions, they say the same thing. They say, hey, if you're going to be about what you're claiming, then be about it.
Right. Don't do it halfway.
Right. Don't do it halfway.
Right.
And see that the quote, the verse, whatever, I don't know it, but if it's in there, then Republicans, what you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What you doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been that way. It's always, we pick the parts that we like, and they disregard what they don't, what they can't use, and the selective parts of the Bible, it's kind of wild how they have that. It's like a cognitive dissonance. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you can talk to them and say, okay, why aren't you talking about this? And why aren't you talking about that? Why do you keep hounding on this part?
Right.
And it'll go right over their heads. It's like you're not even saying anything to them, know? So, yeah.
I mean, yeah. And we've seen that in different instances where they do, as you just said, they hound on only certain things, and not take everything in within full. Just for just for the sake of within some of other news within today. You had Hunter Biden, where they call him to testify, and what he said is that he will happily do it in public. But instead, they wanted it in private. And this is something we'll probably, talk about in a different show. But, they wanted it in private, but he would not do it, which I agree with him. I wouldn't have done it either, on the fact that you do it in private, they could take whatever you say and twist it up on how they want,
Mm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
And just like you said, they will leave certain things out. They will ignore certain things, you know. I mean, particularly with that case of his, it's just
With the briefcase
well,
case.
I'm just talking about the case altogether where they're trying to get him just to get at his daddy.
Mm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
come on, man,
Okay, I got a theory.
come on.
Okay, so you know how sometimes if you have a job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say you are a police officer,
Okay.
right? And you have a conversation with a police officer and you say, you know what? They should legalize all drugs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that police officer would say, you know what? No, that's no way they should legalize all drugs. And you give them a good explanation. You say, well, you know, if you legalize all drugs, um, crime will go down. You won't have drug dealers out on the street. They'll have to do something else. You know what I mean? Because now you're getting the drugs that you used to buy off the street. You getting it from Walgreens. You getting it from CVS. You know,
Yeah.
so the legal, you know, making it legal maybe would help the crime situation. If you eliminate the crime situation, what are the police officers going to do now? Now you got to lay off police officers. You know what I mean? So I had this conversation with a police officer. That's why, and he there has been instances where different countries deal with their drug problems in different kind of ways, right? Like I think Portugal, they legalized all drugs and the crime went down,
Wow.
right? Because you have
Wow.
nobody. What are you shooting out in the street for if everybody can get the drugs that you want? Nobody is trying to shoot, you know.
Right.
So what they did, their policy was to legalize everything and just have hospitals. So when you want to get off of the drugs, all of that money that we use for drug enforcement, it went to the hospitals to help people.
Oh wow.
So I just said that to talk about abortion, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, in thinking the same way, a lot of these conservatives maybe they don't want abortions because now this is a long conspiracy theory.
Come on with
So
it.
so maybe some of these conservatives don't want abortions because they know that when abortion was legalized, the crime rate started going down. Right?
Mm-hmm.
If the crime rate is going up, then you need conservatives to crack down. So it's like
Well,
almost like a circle.
well, yeah, not gonna understand that because if I remember right on what I read on why they began to legalize abortions was the fact that there were so many back alley
Right.
abortions
And
and
unwanted
all
kids.
that. Well, not even that. It's just the fact that you know many people passed away
Yeah.
because they were not. How can I say it was not done in a good way, in a sanitary type of a way, and you know you had a lot of mishaps.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, and you're right on certain things. If you bring it how you should be to a level of a choice, you know, to to have an abortion would be a choice that I mean anybody would with all the situations you have to look at the whole picture,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you know if it's not doable for whatever reason, you know, and not just I'm talking about across the board, not just health wise, because health wise, if it ain't doable, it ain't doable in my book. There it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
But for whatever reason that it may be that it's not doable, then it's not doable. You know, and I think, you know, at that time any of us would just have to that when you make that choice, you know, you stay with the choice and you stand in front of your maker, and then that's when, you know, you're judged upon that.
Mm-hmm.
But for us to you have the small group passing judgment along everybody. That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
absolutely crazy. And then, they got to worry about, going to jail and so forth. Just like this mother here. If whenever she gets back in the state, of course, they're going to try to prosecute her.
Mhm.
So you're going to take this mother away from her other two children.
Mm.
You're going to take her away from her other two children. Where as a kid and as an adult, you need that motherly love. You're going to take her away from her other two children.
Doesn't make sense, does it?
Not at all.
Doesn't
Not
make
at all.
sense.
Not at all.
And they care so much about the kids,
right.
but you want to take their mothers away?
Right.
Yeah.
It shows you how much they really care about the kids.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's all hypocritical.
Yeah.
Yes. You have, you say you don't want abortions, but you don't want to put any money towards funding childcare. You don't want to put $1 towards childcare, but you don't want abortions, right? And you don't want birth control, really.
Right, because I heard that they're attacking that now as well.
Right.
So
and they don't believe in the science of it. They don't believe in statistics because say if you had sex education in high school, you would learn how not to have children. But they don't want you to have sex education in high school. They want you to just be out there figuring out stuff, not being able to talk to your parents, not being able to talk to anybody, to not know anything, just out there.
Yeah, so, I mean, not to even cut you off on that, and I want you to keep going with it, but, there's also a point that some of those Republicans, especially the House Republicans, matter of fact, the Speaker of the House himself, what's his name, Mike Johnson?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I found out that he was, trying to make a pull to no longer have that separation of church and state.
Mm.
But then, and again, within the country, we are a bunch of different cultures.
Mm-hmm.
This so-called melting pot that is supposed to be just for every individual that's legally within this country. You're talking about no longer having the separation of church and state.
Mm-hmm.
How would you be fair to the rest of these cultures that you have within this country? People that, believe it or not, and they'll say that they do not need them and all that, but no, you need them.
Oh, yeah.
You need them, So how would you be fair to the rest of these people?
Well, I don't think they have the intention of being fair. I mean, what you're saying is written in the Constitution. You're not supposed to hold up any religion over another, And I think even though they say that they are patriots every 5 minutes, they've never read the Bible. They've never read the Constitution. The only thing they know is what's on conservative news and conservative media. That's all they know. And it shows. I mean, if you have a debate with them, they would rather fight than answer questions. You know what I mean?
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true. I totally agree with you. Now, my question is for you, sir. Just off the dome, off the top of your head, to make these changes within these states, maybe even bring back Roe v. Wade. How would you do it at first? How?
To bring back Roe v. in the states that already took it away?
But bring it to a national level as it was before. Bring everything back. How could we do that? What do you think?
I would
because to me that would be the only way that'd be fair.
You would have to get a large amount of people out there voting, a large amount of women to vote.
So you think within this next election cycle that they will be out there?
If the Democrats do what they're supposed to do and bring it up every 5 minutes, I mean, that would be in every commercial.
Right.
You know, all of these cases, especially like some of the more, some of the more, outrageous cases, like the little kid that
The
that was,
10-year-old?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, you gotta bring that stuff up and make sure people know what they're trying to do.
Yes.
Because abortion, if they can get away with this, that's only the next step. You know what I mean? They are trying to take us back to the medieval ages. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it won't stop at abortion. People think that, oh yeah, that's all they want is abortion. But no, they're coming for your rights. That's what the main thing is. So yeah, they need to push that out there.
All right, y'all. We're gonna step into a quick musical break. But after the break, we're going to take things a little bit lighter. So stay tuned. Remember, you are checking out Elevated Vibes on IntellectualRadio.com. What's good, everybody? We are back once again, and like I said, we're going to take things a little lighter. You know, we spoke about the abortion thing a little bit, and then also, too, if you want to keep that conversation going, you can always hit us up on Facebook Live, and you can always hit us up through the email. All right, we will be there to answer any of your questions and get back and forth with you. And if you forgot that email address, I'm gonna break it down to you real quick. That is the triple threat of radio, all one word, the triple threat of radio at gmail.com. All right, like I said, everybody, we're gonna take this lighter. All right, but it still has a lot of importance within it as well. We, as folks, we should all have representation. Just like I spoke about saying that with different people, different cultures, different looks, all that, everybody should have representation just so that the children can see the heroes, the good spirits and all that, and they can see that being them. All right. We're going to talk about one of the oldest things of representation that was needed that we kind of brought out. And I'm not saying us, but it was just kind of brought out as children. Black Santa. That's right. Ho, 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 everybody. Have you started off, Mr. Evans?
So I think that Black Santa is something that I grew up with.
Yes.
I know my father. He had a Santa Claus outfit, and
And then you even find those Black Santa type statues. I remember a long time ago as a kid, it took a lot to find some,
right.
It really did, But go ahead, man.
Yeah, it took a lot to believe that he was Santa Claus for the first day. That's what it took a lot to believe right there.
Hey, he paid the money to get them gifts, boy.
Yeah.
He paid the cost. He was Santa, man.
Right. But man, as a young kid, I didn't care who was Santa Claus as long as I got my presents.
Right.
I didn't feel that it was kind of like appropriating anybody's culture or anything like that. As long as I got the gifts, it wasn't a big deal to me. But I can definitely see the importance of making Christmas itself inclusive to those who want it. Because not everybody want Christmas, but it's a holiday, and if you want to celebrate it, however way, I think you should be able to.
Yeah, be joyous, have fun, do your thing.
Right, exactly. It's made up. You know what I mean? It's made up. It's not that serious for the first day.
Yes,
but
absolutely correct.
Yeah, that's another. One of these things that Fox News. Remember, they were having that discussion. Don't call it Happy Holidays. Don't say Happy Holidays. Yeah.
Well, I get why people start doing that, because you was trying to be fair to everybody else, which, that goes back to what we were saying earlier within the show with the different cultures, the melting pot. I believe that's something that you should be fair to everybody.
Yeah.
And we have so many different cultures within this country. It should be a holiday every month of the year.
Yeah. I love holidays.
It literally should. We know some of the big ones, the main staples and all that, but what is it? 183 countries in the world, something of that sort.
Yeah.
With a lot of different cultures. You have a lot of different cross cultures and all that, where what I'm saying. It could be 3 countries with the same type of a culture, same type of beliefs. They're just 3 separate countries. So that's why I say, you got a lot of cross cultures. But, saying that everyone that is here, I feel should have a different section, a different spot. Just as, and I know this is going a little bit off topic with this, but just as you got your Christmas in December, and also the Hanukkah, but you also have you have Ramadan, you have I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's in the Hindu. It escapes me right now, but they have a couple of major holidays, so they should have a big plate of time where you will see some of these same things. It may be a little confusing, but then yet again, everybody's getting the same, part of the pie.
Right.
So I get it.
And this is a holiday. You're supposed to be light. You know what I mean? It's, you're eating a lot. You're getting with family. I don't see how you can work up the nerve to be really serious about, if somebody says Merry Christmas to me, I'll say Merry Christmas back. If somebody says, Happy Hanukkah, I'll say Happy Hanukkah to you too. I have no problem, coming at you the way you come at me. If you want to say Happy Holidays, I'll say Happy Holidays.
And it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be a problem
What's the deal?
Yeah.
What's the deal with that? That's just, especially living in a multicultural country like we do.
Yes.
you should have an open mind about these kind of things.
And a lot of people don't want to be open.
No.
Everybody want to be me, 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 me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And won't give that respect to the next man.
Right.
Right. You know, so, but that's what I say. I understand why they came with the thing with the happy holidays. You know what I mean? To kind of, you know, bring some fairness, same level type deal. Mm-hmm. I get it. You know what I'm saying? But you were speaking about the Black Santas, bro, and you know you had a certain story about that.
Oh yeah, well, like I said, my father, I don't know where he bought this Santa Claus suit. Now you talking about the story in the news?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, yeah, we're talking about the racism that the Black Santa was catching, because you know he put on the suit, and that is definitely not the spirit of Christmas.
Okay,
right there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think that if you come at somebody with that kind of spirit, then I don't think that you understand the true meaning of what you are celebrating. You know what I mean? What do you think?
I mean, I agree on the fact that, you know, you should come even with the good time, with the holiday time and all that. I believe regardless, just like you said, you come at me with certain things saying Happy Hanukkah, you're gonna say Happy Hanukkah back. You know, you could say Ramadan Mubarak, and then back and forth. You know, so it should be that same good spirit, just like you're speaking about. So I agree with you 100% that it should be the same good spirit. Now, unfortunately, you get those that just don't want to have that. They just miserable. So they literally miserable.
So do you think that
yes,
Christmas itself can be culturally appropriated?
What you mean?
I think that I think what they're trying to say is that other cultures are trying to appropriate that holiday, right? Trying to say, "Oh no, this is our holiday. Why are you taking our white Santa Claus and making them African American? Why are you making them black? Why are you making them whatever?"
Well, yeah, that's those
right.
miserable type. I get what you're saying
right.
now. You know, they want to twist their own thinking within that.
Yeah, in certain instances, that can be the case when you try to abuse somebody's culture, but nobody's abusing Santa Claus by becoming Santa Claus, right?
Yeah, I get it. And then, you know, whole thing for that should be just for the kids anyway, you know. Regardless of your culture and so forth, it should be a general thing to see a smile on the kid's face.
Right.
To make that kid happy. That should be all it is. I don't care if you blue. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If the kid is happy for that moment, blessings to you.
Yeah. I definitely agree. To turn a happy, money wasting holiday like Christmas into something evil and spend all of this money.
The miserable people, man. Misery, it loves company.
Yeah.
And that's all they want you to do, to be miserable just like them.
Yeah. It's mostly for the kids. You know, and even though we spend a ton of money, I love it. I love getting with family. I love going to the store, even though, you know, my daughters, they don't like me buying presents for them. They just want money these days. You know, I like doing it.
Yes.
You know, and, you know, the fact that, you know, people are trying to turn into a bad thing, that's crazy. You know, like, how do you feel about like social, like the cultural appropriation as a whole, though? Because I mean, Christmas is like one instance, you know, that they're trying to hold on to. But there are other instances.
I mean, are you speaking about with just different holidays and so forth? What do you mean?
Yeah, with different holidays, or you could go another route, like people trying to cultural appropriate music, clothes, holidays. How do you feel about that all in general?
Well, when it comes to stuff like music and clothes, it is what it is with that. If it's certain music you like, then enjoy your music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we are all different. I'm jumping into the clothes thing now. We are all different in some type of a way, and saying that and being that, then we should accept that. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. I agree.
We should accept that. But hey, everybody, we run up against some time here. But once again, let's keep this conversation going. Constantly keeping it going. Because with our conversations, what we always trying to do is just hold up and build that togetherness and build for the better. All right? This is Elevated Vibes. I'm your boy Abdul Rashid with
your boy Tim.
And we will catch y'all next week.
Peace.